Hi guys, my name is LaShawn and welcome back to another video.
Take it away, feeling too good.
Okay, so as you can see in the title above, today I'm going to be giving you some of my tips and just some things that I wish I knew before applying to nursing school, before starting my first day of nursing school, and then just some things that I'm still figuring out that I feel like will be really helpful for people that are considering going into the career. Before I get started, I just want to give a disclaimer. I am recording in my bedroom today, and I'm right beside the window because that's where the best lighting is. But I live directly on like a main street. So if you guys hear any cars, I apologize in advance. I'm testing everything out with this video. But if it ends up being horrible, I will never do this again. But we're going to try it out today. So I'll be looking at my phone because I concocted a list of 15 things that I want to like discuss, and yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So if you are interested in applying to nursing school and you just want to get a little insight, a little sneak peek, or some helpful tips, then just keep watching, girl or guy. Okay guys, so these recommendations are in like no particular order. I kind of just jotted down a few things. Some of these things are like my personal experiences, and some things are like things that I've heard people in my cohort say, and I was like, that's actually, you know, a really good idea. I like that idea. So like I said, it's in no particular order, but it's definitely 15 things that are super helpful. So let's go. So number one that I wish I knew, or not that I wish I knew, but I found out when I got into nursing school, is that you need to find your group. And actually my professor told me this when we were doing a exam review. She was like, you know, do you have any friends? I took an exam, I didn't do that well on it, and she was just saying, you know, you should just find your group. And at the time I was like, what does that have to do with anything? But when you find your group of people, it makes nursing school so much more enjoyable, and you would probably do better. It doesn't even have to be a group. It could really just be one person if you are, you know, introverted. Finding your group is just finding that support to lean on, people that are like-minded and that can understand what you're going through. Because while you may have friends, family, and all of those, you know, good supportive people in your life, having people that are going through the same thing as you is just so helpful. Having people that may have heard something that you didn't hear is so helpful. There's been so many times where I don't understand something and then my classmates understand it, and they can explain it to me so much better than maybe even the teacher can explain it to me, or that the textbook can explain it to me. So it's so important to try not to like isolate yourself and to be a part of a group, so that you're always in the know. You don't have just your ears listening to things, you have multiple ears listening to things. You have, you know, you have that support, just having someone to lean on. So I think that is so important. And I am someone that was extremely shy. I'm breaking out of that day by day. But when I first started nursing school, for the first couple weeks, I was just like by myself on my little island, and I was just so scared to talk to people. And now I have like multiple friends, and you know, we go out together after exams. It's just so much more enjoyable because nursing school is already extremely like hard, and it's just good to have people to celebrate those good moments with, when there are good moments. Number two is practicing on your family and friends. This is something that I highly recommend. Usually you will get a kit, whether you need to buy it or it comes with your tuition, but you'll get a kit that has like, you know, your blood pressure cuff and maybe a stethoscope and a few other things. But when you first start out as a first year nursing student, more than likely you're not gonna know anything. And while you will have like your clinic, which is like your lab, where you can practice on your classmates, that only lasts for like 2 to 4 hours every week. It's going to be so beneficial for you to go home, and for me, in my case, it was my boyfriend, but to practice on someone that you either live with, or, you know, call up a friend and say, hey girl, can you come over? Hey boy, can you come over? And just practice your techniques on other people outside of class time, so that you're using your time wisely, and you're more prepared for clinic. And when you get to clinic, if you have questions, you can just ask your instructor. I found that very helpful, especially when it came to preparing for exams. I always practice on my boyfriend, always. The third thing that I learned was making the most of your lab time. So in nursing school, you're gonna have class and you're gonna have lab. Your lab is where they're gonna teach you all of your skills. So like I said, taking blood pressure, doing IVs, giving shots, all the like skills, all the good stuff about nursing is what you're going to learn in lab. So you definitely want to pay attention and make the most of your lab time. Ask all of your questions, make all of your mistakes, make the most out of your lab time. Like if your teacher says, you know, you guys are kind of done for the day, but we have 30 more minutes, left of class, you can like leave. You know, if you can, try to stick around and practice a couple more times, you know, inserting catheters. Just try to make the most of your lab time, especially if you don't have someone at home to practice with. It'll be so beneficial because when you get into your real clinical rotation, you're gonna know what you're doing so much more. You're not gonna be like, oh my God, how do I insert a catheter? You know, or how do I do this wound dressing? It's just gonna make you feel so much more confident, and confidence is key in nursing. You want to be confident in what you're doing. So number 4 is something that I'm actually still working on, but it's so beneficial. Number 4 is developing a relationship of some sort with your professors. I know that can be kind of difficult, but developing a relationship with your professor is extremely important. It's been something that I've always struggled with, to be honest. This is my second degree. When I got my first degree, I like never wanted to talk to my professors. I don't know, it just gave me like some sort of weird social anxiety. But it is important because you want them to know you, know your face, and you know that you're trying, and you want to be comfortable when you have a question and you want to come to them. So I think it's important to, you know, maybe on the first day, go up, introduce yourself. I know everybody does that. I don't do that. But it's something that a lot of my classmates do, and I find that it's really helpful, you know. So if you can, try to develop a relationship with your professors. It's something that I'm working on as well. We're gonna work on it together, okay? Me and you. So number 5 is a really good one. I heard my classmate say this a couple weeks ago at clinic, but having prior experience in some sort of healthcare is so beneficial before starting nursing school. I wouldn't say it's required. It's not required, but I wouldn't say don't apply to nursing school if you have no experience in healthcare. I would not say that. Do not take it like that. But if you do have that extra time, like let's say you're applying in 6 months, like try to find something, or let's say you're gonna apply in a couple years, maybe try to get your CNA license before. Like try to do something if you can. If you can't, it's fine. But the reason why I say that it's so important is it's going to help you so much. I was a medical assistant for almost 2 years before applying to nursing school. And a lot of my classmates are CNAs. And that helped me so much more than I could have ever imagined, because when I got into nursing school and they were teaching us, you know, how to draw blood, how to do shots, I had already done all of those things. And I was just like, that took one less thing off of my like brain capacity, you know, memorization. Like I could focus on other things rather than, you know, drawing blood, giving shots, numbing patients. Like I had learned all of those things. I could have just, you know, touched them up and tweaked them. Whereas there was a lot of information, more complex information that I didn't know. So I could hone in more on that. So that helped me so much. Whereas, you know, some of my classmates that had no experience in healthcare, they were focusing on all the complex stuff. And, you know, all of this stuff, it was just a lot on their plate. The more experience that you have, in my opinion, before going to nursing school, the easier that it's gonna be. That's just how I feel personally. And I know it can be kind of difficult because you just want to jump into it, you know, and I do not knock people that do that. There's a lot of my classmates that have no experience, and I know that they're going to be amazing nurses and they're doing great. And there's some of my classmates that have no experience, and I've heard them say, you know, I don't know if nursing is right for me. So I think if you're on the border of like, I don't know, I kind of want to go to nursing school, but I don't know if it's right for me, I definitely say, you know, try something else in healthcare first, like getting your CNA license or becoming a medical assistant, because that could be very beneficial, and it could either like, you know, make you say, yeah, I want to go to nursing school, or no, it's not for me. So if you can, definitely try to get some experience first. Okay, moving on to number 6. Try to utilize your clinical experience to the best of your ability. And by clinical experience, I mean your actual clinical rotations. So when you're going to, the nursing home, or when you're going to the hospital, or wherever you're placed, try to be as hands-on with those nurses, because that's where you're going to learn the most in nursing school. Not in class, not in lab, but in your actual clinical experience. That's where you're going to learn everything. That's where you're going to see things for what they are. And they're some of the best experiences that you're going to have. Those nurses are, most of the time, they are so great, and they're so willing to help teach you. So utilize that experience to the best of your ability. Ask all the questions. If the nurse is willing to let you do something, while under their supervision, go for it. Even if you've never done it before, 9 times out of 10, they will walk you through how to do it. So don't be scared. Jump in there and just go for it. That's where you're going to learn so many things during your clinical rotations. It's so fun. Okay, so number 7 is do not wait until the last minute to study. I think I don't even need to really go into this because it's so obvious, but nursing school is no joke. It's not for the weak. It's not for the procrastinator. You have to study. I think one of my classes requires like almost 20 hours a week just of studying, which is literally a part-time job. So yes, be on top of it every day, 3 to 4 hours a day. Be studying something, very much so something, because it's going to help you so much when the test comes, especially because almost all of our exams at the end of the semester are cumulative. So procrastination, let her go. Let her go. Okay, moving on to number 8, which is a very important part. Seeking out financial aid. I got my entire tuition covered, at least for the first year. I'm not sure about the second year yet. And I'm actually not going to go too much into this because I'm going to do a whole different video on how that came about. But nursing school is expensive. School is expensive in general. And there's so many other options out there. And I didn't know until I was like a couple weeks into my program that I qualified for this grant. So that is definitely something that I want to mention to all of my new nursing students. Number 9 is being open-minded. But just be open-minded and just be positive, and it's going to pay off in the end. Trust me. Number 10 is something that's really big. Being organized is going to be so important when you're in nursing school. There's so many assignments, so many tests, so many dates that you need to remember, so many vaccines and shots that you need to have, and certifications. So organization is key from the moment that you find out that you are, from the moment that you decide that you're going to start applying to nursing school. Be organized with your applications. When you find out that you get in, start to be organized, getting all of your, immunizations together, all of your certifications together. A lot of people like agendas. You guys know from my video a couple videos ago, I do not do agendas. I do, my phone, the Apple Notes, but organization is organization. Do whatever works for you and you're going to be okay. But if you're not organized, you're going to miss things. Trust me, it gets hectic out here, okay? Number 11, something that I wish I knew before going into nursing school is how important anatomy is. Luckily, I did pretty well in anatomy, but it carries over so much into nursing, which is like kind of like duh, LaShawn, like duh, it's anatomy. But some people may not know that, so I just want to put it out there that when you're taking your prereqs, anatomy is anatomy 1 and anatomy 2. Pay attention. Those classes are important, more important than microbio and all those other things that you're learning. But anatomy is important. It's everything in nursing school. You're gonna need to know where your stuff is at. Pay attention to anatomy. Do well in anatomy. It helps you. I don't even know what number we're on, but I think we're on number 12. I think. Number 12 is becoming a better test taker. If you're not already an amazing test taker, this is something you're gonna need to work on. At least my program, they set up the questions to resemble the NCLEX For those of you who do not know, the NCLEX is like a standardized test that you have to take at the end of nursing school in order to get your actual, license as a registered nurse. So my school wants to prepare us for that big test. So all of our exams are questions that you may see like on the NCLEX. Not questions that you may see on the NCLEX, but they're NCLEX style questions. So they're extremely difficult questions that make you really think. So something that is really important is when you take that first test, you might not do so well. You might do really well. But if you do not do well, read those questions, try to figure out what they're asking you. And something that will probably help you out a lot with that is getting books that have NCLEX style questions in them. If I can find some, I'll try to link them down below. But those tests are no joke. But as long as you are on top of your game and you are studying and you're not procrastinating and you're using all of your resources, you should be fine. Right. Number 13. This is a good tip. Medications. Know your medications. Whatever chapter that you're covering, know the medications. You need to know the side effects. You need to know the generic name. You need to know the brand name. You need to know why the patient is taking this medication. Knowing your medications, memorizing your medications, committing them to your memory is going to be so important, not just for the test, but for when you're actually in your clinical rotation. They're going to expect you to know, why are you giving this patient this medication? So getting a medication book, which I have a really good one that I'll link down below, is going to save you. Okay. Number 14, I realized I kind of touched on that earlier in the video, but it's forming study groups, which kind of, coincides with finding your group. But study groups are so helpful, you guys, because, just sitting, bouncing ideas off of each other, asking each other questions, is just going to be so helpful for preparing for exams. And if you can, try to get together with your study group at least once a week. That's what our professors recommend. And it seems to help a lot of people. I haven't been in a study group in a little while, but when I was in a study group, I was doing extremely well and it was really helpful. So if you can, get your study group together once or twice a week. Okay, so if you made it this far, we have made it to number 15. And 15th and final recommendation for all first year nursing students entering nursing school is just to be open to change. This is so important, especially with us coming out of this pandemic, or in this pandemic still. Things are ever changing. Nursing is ever changing. Everything changes, whether it be test dates, whether it be you're at this clinical site, actually no, you're going to be at this clinical site, we're starting this day, actually no, we're starting this day, you need this many hours. Things are still changing. Right now my school is even short-staffed, so things, a lot of things had to be shifted around this semester. And once you accept that, when you get into the field, everything will probably be so much smoother because you're just so used to things changing all the time. But that's all the tips and tricks that I have for you guys today. If you guys want more videos like this, please let me know. I will go around and ask my peers what they think, to get some information from them if you guys are interested in things like this. Thank you guys for showing me so much love on my day in the life as a nursing student video that I posted last week. I'm like, you guys really liked that video. Thank you. But with that being said, nursing is such a rewarding career. I'm enjoying it so much already. I'm enjoying being a nursing student, even though some days it's just so hard, so draining. But this is something that I prayed for the last couple of years. So I'm very excited that I am able to be so drained and stressed. And I'm just looking forward to my career as a nurse. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. We can talk about it in the comments below, of course. And don't forget that I'm posting a video every day for the month of April, so I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Thanks.